In activity 1-1, we will focus on vocabulary words. And a lot of these vocabulary words you probably have been introduced to um, throughout your other math courses throughout the years. However, please don't be presumptive and think that you already know everything, because there may be some things, very particular things, that if you don't pay attention to, a very, very simple question to answer, you're going to get it wrong because you missed the details of the vocabulary. So, in your springboard book, in your 1-1 lesson, they start right here by asking you to just, remember from previous learning how many of these things you could name. So, what you should do right now is you should pause this video and go ahead and take the time to just jot down some answers. And when I say jot them down, I don't care if you try to answer them here in the book online or if you jot them down on a piece of paper. That's whatever works best for you. Remember, this is your learning, so you get to do it your way. I'm just here to walk you through and provide you with information that you most likely couldn't get on your own. Okay, so go ahead and pause the video. All right, I'm assuming that you've paused the video and you have tried to answer some of these questions right here. I'm going to click this little thing and show you the answers. Um, oh, well, this one. So this one says you could have called this a dot or a point. Um, it says, well, you can read. I'll let you read. You've got an arrow going this way and it passes through those points. You might say the arrow passes to the right or is pointing to the right. Some very basic descriptions. Yours do not, by all means, have to match this. Notice it says here that these are sample answers. So if you don't have written down what they have, that's quite all right. Sorry, I hit a button. So let's get down to this part of your notes right here, because this is where they provide you with the geometric figure name, the name of the geometric figure. They talk to you about how to name it, and then they give you an example. Okay. Now, one of the things that is happening here is that I have to talk to you about is the fact that you need to pay very close attention to the kind of letter it is. And by the kind of letter, I mean pay attention to whether it's capital or whether it's lowercase. And because that's going to matter. Points are always, always, always named with a capital letter. And that's where I said you might think you've already known in the past that you name a point with a letter, but did you know it had to be a capital letter? This one right here is telling you there's two ways to name a line. A line can be named by any 2 points on that line. And if you name it this way, you must include the symbol on top. And the symbol on top must have 2 arrows on the end. It's because if you don't put the 2 arrows on the end, it gets confused with the line segment, which is also 2 letters that are on a part of a line and do not contain letters. So here's where it gets confusing. Yes, this is named line AB, but you're going to have to give me just a second. I am learning this program that I'm using to write on my computer, so you'll have to bear with me as I switch from this whiteboard back and forth um, to the website. And just FYI, I have tried I have tried a couple of programs, or I should say extensions, that allow me to write on this web page, and none of them have been very good. As a matter of fact, I can see right here I took it down. So if any of you guys seem to know these um, digital things better than I do. If any of you know of an extension that allows me to write on this web page and it's like in good time, everything lags and is very slow. So that's why I don't like it. Please let me know. I am Professor Burkett, or I'm sorry, at my school they call me Professor. Um, but you guys should all have my email, or find it on the web page. So let me know if you know of an extension, a Chrome extension that'll allow me to write on the web page. Otherwise, I'm going to have to go back and forth over here. Okay, so here's what I want you to be sure that you are aware of. Yes, this is a picture of a line, but I can also talk about line segment AB. This is not the same thing as this. I could also talk about line segment BA. Okay, it's the same. These two line segments, this line segment right here is exactly the same, but that's not the same as line AB or line BA. And you also cannot, this is something that students do, they mix the M and then one of the points, like MA, can't do that. If you're going to use a lowercase letter, you do not combine it with a point. Okay, you can't do that. So also this lowercase m, I know you can't see it because I don't know why they chose this font. If they used a different font, you'd be able to tell it. But this is italicized. Okay, it's a cursive M. So if I were writing this by hand, I would write it like that. Okay, so it should be italicized, and whatever font that they picked, it doesn't show the italics very good. So a lowercase letter, as long as it's italicized or in cursive, in script. That's the way we talk about it. If we don't say italicized, we say it's a script lowercase letter. So you might want to add that right there. Script, SCR. Spelling is not my strong suit, so you'll just have to, if I spell something wrong, just spell it right. Script or italics. And I really don't know if I spelled that right or not. Italics. So that's true about the lowercase letter. So you might want to make note of that. Line segment. Ray, here's the mistake that everybody makes. The fact that this arrow is to the right, it will always be to the right when you name a ray. So here's the ray. RW. Okay. If we were to want to write about this, we would call this Ray RW. The arrow always goes to the right, and the first letter is always the endpoint. The second letter is always some other point on the ray. So this ray right here has a point. The end point of the ray is at R. It has a point B on it, and it has a point W on it. If we're talking about ray RW, that's the same ray as ray RB. Okay, these two right here are the same ray. Students want to make the arrow go the other way, and you cannot write it like this. This is not the same ray. And I'm just going to apologize right now. Every time I get on here to record a lesson, my dogs decide it's time to play. So I'm sorry if you hear them. Okay, so just be sure that you are not using one of the points. Here's another one. It's not the same. Ray BR. Why? Because the endpoint is not W. So just be sure about that. I'm going to go ahead and stop the video right now because I have to go check on my dogs.